So welcome to a new Bitwig tutorial or guide, and on this one we need to talk about fades, autofades, and crossfades. So if you like all of this, remember to like and subscribe, and if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee just to say thanks, you can. Go to the links at the description. Now we are going to start easy because we need to go through the fades, which is the normal, usual fades that you know. So we start easy, and then we need to talk about how the autofades work and the crossfades. So what is the normal fade? So you have the fade in and the fade out. So if I select this clip right now, if I play it, it's gonna sound like that. It's a pretty dumb bass, right? So super simple. So I'm gonna be going right here. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller because it's just maybe too big. I'm gonna go right there for now. So you have right here in the left side the fade in and the fade out. And this is because we are checking the arranger clip. So what we can do right here, if you put yourself at the very top on the corner right there, you can drag to this side and you're going to be applying some fades. Now, if we go very aggressively, it's going to fade in very aggressively. You can do just a tiny bit and it's just going to, do the trick. So the same thing goes for the end of the clip. We can go right there, fade in, and then we're going to be doing the fade out, right? So I know this is pretty simple and maybe you already knew about this. One thing that you can do when you're working with this, this is the manual fade. You can go with the mouse, position yourself right here, and when you do control and you get this icon, this means that you can adjust the curve of whatever it is that you're doing. So if I go down or go up, we are going to be getting a different curve. Same thing for the other one. Going to go down or go up and we get a different curve. Now by default, you're going to be using the S curve, which is this one that you have right here. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot use the other one. The other one is going to be a more classic kind of a curve. If I go there, we have a linear curve, exponential, or logarithmic, which is the most common kind of a curves that we get. So you have two choices right here. And the other values that we get right here at the bottom is what we are doing with the control. I'm sorry, with the alt is an alt, not the control. And right here, you can do pretty much the same, but we are going to be doing it from here instead of doing it with the mouse, because sometimes just dragging is it's just not very consistent, right? Okay, so for now, I'm just going to go back to here, and then I'm going to go back to here. Now, everything that we are doing right now, we're doing it at the clip level. So we are working and fading the arranger clip, but inside we have an audio source. Notice that this is bigger. This is the audio event. So you can still do some fading on this one. It's going to reflect right here, but then at the top, you can still do more fading and maybe, use a different fading like an S curve. And on this one, you can do a linear curve. And notice that when you select the audio event right here at the bottom, inside the audio event, it will tell you, dude, you're doing a fade in with this, with the S curve. So the other one could be a linear curve, and we're going to be doing something like that. And on the other one, we are going to be doing the S curve. Something like that. So you can, make a combination of both, the clip event or the audio event and the clip. And I know that all of this is just very simple. It's just a very simple thing that you learn at the beginning when you're starting, but maybe you're just starting and you didn't know. So now you know. Now, one other thing that you can do that is really cool. Let's say I want to, maybe I'm going to go right here and just select this waveform, this one that we have right here. And if I play it, it's going to sound like that. And I'm going to consolidate, right click, and I'm going to just bring it down. So the only thing that lives within the clip and the audio event is going to be something like this. Maybe I'm going to be doing something like that. Going to adjust the fade inside the clip, on the audio event. And on this one, we have nothing right there. So we have something super simple. So I'm going to be playing and we just get that. Now, of course, when you go right here at the bottom and you put your cursor right there at the bottom, you can loop this clip and it's going to be playing many times. So this got nothing to do with fades. This is just the loop function that you get right here and we discussed on the previous video. Now, if I do play, you're just going to be looping the same thing. So what you can do right here when you do fading right here at the clip level, you're going to be fading the whole damn thing. But if you do it right here, then you're doing it on all the repetitions, on all the different iterations. There's a difference, right? And doing a combination of both makes sense, depends on what you're doing. Now, in the case of the beginning of the clip, let me adjust this right here. I'm going to be putting it maybe around here. So in the case of this one, we can go this way and we know what we are going to get. But if I go the other way, since we are looping, we are going to be starting to get this kind of a weird thing or weird behavior. So what's happening is that we're going to be starting to play whatever we are doing right here, but then we are going to be fading it in. So this is kind of a crossfade that we are doing right now. We're going to talk about crossfades in a second. But in this case, we are crossfading and from nothing to the actual clip. So now if I play it, we're going to fade in the sound and then we fade it out. This is just a nice trick that you can use maybe with different clips, maybe with claps or snares on a break or something like that as a riser. This is just, just going to work. Now, if I make this smaller, we are going to be getting different sounds, of course, like this. But what you can do, you can adjust the loop bar because everything that we are doing right now, it's looping. So if we loop less, we are just going to be getting more kind of a sound effect. So if I go and play it, we're going to be getting something like that. Now, again, just like this, by using different clips with different sounds, you just can create different type of effects. Okay, so back to what I had from before, the whole damn thing. So we need to talk about autofades. Now, you have two ways, two different things with autofades. So I believe I enabled just to show you, but I usually have this disabled. If you go to the configuration and then you go to the behavior, right here on the configuration is going to say fades, and then it's going to say default fade length. Now, at the bottom, and this is the important part, is going to say automatically create fades on audio clip event edits. And the keyword right here is edits. So you have two types of autofades. The one where you press a button and it's going to create a fade in and a fade out for you. And the other autofade is going to create a crossfade when you edit the clip. Now this one is disabled. I'm going to be enabling this. And by default, you can go to 1 millisecond or go all the way to 50. And for now, I'm just going to put it around there. So something that, we can see or it's obvious. So now if I go to this clip and I make an edit, it's going to give us that fade that we enabled. And it's a little bit weird and it's a little bit useless at the same point. So I'm going to be chopping it right here. Now, we cannot see it because the clip is a little bit long, which is not that long, but the crossfading, it's super small. So if I go there, we can see that it did a crossfading for us. Now, this is doing pretty much nothing. So if when we do crossfading, and we are going to be talking about crossfading in a minute, we usually see something going on the waveform. Just like we do when we go to this side and we do a manual fade in. But in this case, just nothing is going on. So this is what the autofade it's doing for us when we slice the clip, which is pretty much nothing. And I'm going to be proving it because we can make this one super wide and we should be listening some change in sound, right? So if I do some playing, we get no change in sound. So this is a little bit pointless when we edit clips. I don't know if this feature is for something else. I really don't know, beats me, but it's a little bit pointless. It's going to be useful, this control and this value when we do autofades. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But in the terms of, getting this crossfading when we do edits, it's maybe because they are expecting for us to move the clips like that and do some crossfading. But if we don't do that, it's just, there's no change. So it's a little bit pointless. But this is a guide. It's not about my opinion. It's about me telling this what this does. So this is going to be what this does. Now, then we have some other things that we need to do. All right, so back to the full thing. I'm not slicing anything. We need to talk about the other thing, which is not when we do edits on clips, because when you select this one, you can do right click, or maybe you can go right here at the top and you have an option that says reset fades and then doing auto fades. So auto fades, it's doing the fade in, or will do the fade in and the fade out for us. And I'm just going to make it smaller so we can really see this. And I'm going to consolidate so we can see the same thing right there at the bottom. Okay, so if we right click and we go right here at the bottom or do Control F, we are going to be auto fading. Now, if I do this, it's going to do it. It's very small and maybe you're not going to see it, but it's going to do it. So if I go right there and just make it bigger, we can see that it's doing some fading for us. And, we didn't do it manually. It's just doing it for us. If I go back, we get no fading. And if I do right here and I do auto fade, it's just going to do it for us. And you can also go to clip if you select the clip and you will have the option to do it from here. Now, this is applying a fade in and a fade out for us to the beginning and, of course, to the end of the clip. Now, maybe you're wondering, okay, so I like the fade in and the fade out of the auto fades. How can we set which values we're going to be getting right here? Because this is kind of doing something. It's adding a value. It's just we have 14 and 14. Can we change this? Yeah, when we do the auto fades, it's listening to this amount of time, to 20 milliseconds in this case. If I do maybe 50, which is going to be a little bit absurd, we are going to be getting it. So if I want to remove this fade, you can do the same thing we did before. Right click or go to the clip section and then do reset fades. And we get no fading. Now, if I do it again, the fade, it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And we can see that it's just, a lot more aggressive. So it's completely up to you what you want to do in terms of values right here on the fading. So you can go all the way down and you can do 1 millisecond, which is, not a lot. So I'm going to do go there and do the reset fades. And I'm going to do the fades again. And we can see that is a very small value. Now, if you think about this, depends on the clip that, where you're working. The fading is going to be really important because right now it's doing some fading, but we have no sound right here. We are just not doing anything. So the fade is not doing anything for us, anything at all. But maybe sometimes you're going to need to chop some part of your clip, and depends on when you chop it, the fade, it's going to be really important. Now, if I do something like that, and let's say I go right here and I go and move it this right here. Now this, let me adjust this. This waveform is going to start right here on the offset. So this is going to give us that pop at the beginning when we play the clip. So applying some fades is going to prevent that pop that we get. And the auto fades, if we have something enable or something like that, it's just going to do it for us. So that's, in this case, the auto fade, it's just, it's just useful. But sometimes when we use it the other way, when we are using it on a clip that we are bringing and we maybe have no sound at the beginning, it's just doing nothing, right? So you always, this means that you always, when you're working with audio clips, you need to go and double check what the fading it's doing for you, the fade in or the fade out or whatever fade. You need to double check if this is useful or not, because this is not useful, right? So maybe we want to adjust the waveform, something like that, or the clip, and then, we are getting some useful fading in. So if you think about this, we are just still doing it manually just to adjust the fades. So, like I told you before, the manual fade in and fade out is still the most important or useful fade that we have on the whole DAW. Right, so let's talk about crossfading. And I have two new clips right here. The first one is going to be something like this. And the other one is going to be completely different. And this is, the whole point. So completely different. So we can easily identify the whole different sounds, right? And this comes from a company called Sennheiser. It's a very good sample company. They are not paying me to say this, but they are a very good company. They make very good, sample packs if you want to check them out. So the whole point of crossfading is to smooth the transition from something to something else. And we can, fade it in from the one thing to the other one, or from the other one to the first one, the previous one. And I know this is confusing, but we're gonna do it right now. So this clip, what I want to do, I want to make it shorter. So let's say I'm going to be playing it about there, and I'm going to be putting this around here, and I'm going to make this one shorter. So we're going to be doing something like that. It doesn't matter right now. So we have two different clips right here. One that starts here and ends right there. And this one starts on the 9 and then, keeps going. So right now we have two separate clips. And if we play them right here, this one is going to end and the other one will begin. So we have no crossfading. So the way you crossfade on Bitwig is that when you go to the loop right here, you're going to need to drag it to this end and you're going to see this cross. This is going to be crossfading. Or let me just go back, made a mistake right there. Or if you go to the other side, you're going to be doing something else. Now, the thing is that there are some gotchas that you need to be aware of when you do crossfading, because if not, it's just, you're not going to be getting anything. It's just, you're going to get no change. So if I do something like this, we are not crossfading. We can see the waveform that is changing. We can really see it. So we are just not crossfading. We are just lowering the volume of this clip before we enter to this one. We can, really hear this. So if I go there, notice it's going down in volume. So there's no crossfading. We just fading out, and then we get the other one. Now, if I do a loop, then we start to get something else. And this is just how it works on Bitwig, right? So notice that we do get it right here, and we are getting the loop right there. Let me just make it a little bit wider, maybe something like that. And if I'm plating, we are crossfading the loop, just like we did before when we were talking about fades. But still, it's just a little bit weird. Okay, so let me just go back to what we had from before. Now again, the main idea of doing crossfading is that sometimes we want to smooth the transition from this clip to the next one, or maybe we want to transition this one into this one. Now, let me just show you how this works. So right now, we cannot do it. So how to crossfade it, we need some information from either clip that is going to be, outside of the scope. So I'm going to go and show you with this one, with the first one. So I'm going to make this one smaller, right? And I'm going to go grab this one and put it right there. So I know that this clip, if I double click it, it has information right here. Now, since I know that at the end of this part, we do have some sound, and let's just pretend that this part is, right here. But of course, we don't see it because we are hiding this. So what we can do with crossfading, we can take this one, I'm going to make it bigger, and we are going to be dragging this to the pink side. And what we are doing now, we are doing that crossfading we want to. Now, if I play it, let me just play it. We are going to be listening to this part, and we are going to be getting the other sounds, and we smoothly have a transition. That's the whole point of crossfading. But for this to happen, you need to have some part of the clip that is going to be hidden from the plain view, and it's going to be transitioning to the other one. If you don't have that, we are just going to get pretty much nothing. Now we can do it the other way, but still, we need something right here that is not going to be inside the scope. So maybe I'm going to be doing something like that. And with this one, we are going to be just going back to what we had from before. So maybe I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to be putting this right here. So I know that this part, and maybe let me just do it like this. I know that right here, we can access with that crossfade to the information of the purple, the purple sound. So if I go there and do the same thing we did before, now we do the opposite. We are just bringing this sound into this sound, and we crossfade from this one to the next one. And if I play it, we can hear this. And we have a smooth transition from one clip to the next one. Now, right now, I'm using a very different clips, so we can easily hear this. But sometimes maybe you have some similar sounds, and the crossfading is very useful to make that smooth transition. And it's just gonna glue the clips a little bit better. All right, so I'm back to what we had from before. So we are starting over, and I'm going to show you that you can convert everything to a clip and then work inside of the clip, or maybe inside of the track. So maybe I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to make it like this, and I'm going to consolidate, and then I can bring this one, make it shorter, and maybe this is going to be like the whole thing. So I'm going to be selecting this. I'm going to consolidate, and now we have one single clip. Now, even though you're consolidating, it doesn't mean that you lose the information that you have right here. You can still work these files and do the crossfading. Now, if I go right there, I know that this clip has no information afterwards, and we can easily do this. Maybe if I go there and go there, we have nothing, so we are just gonna get we're gonna get nothing. And on the other side, if I do something like this, I know that I have nothing. Now we have an easier way to check this. For now, I'm just gonna go there and put it there. Now we can do a crossfade right here, but remember that this clip needs some information right here in order to crossfade. Now what we can do is hold the the Alt, and this what we'll do, it will just move this file, the file that we have, the sound that we have, at the back, and it is just moving. Now I cannot go this way to the right side because there's nothing, but since we can go to the left, we're gonna get that crossfading from this to the next one. And this is a cool thing that you can do. And the cool thing when you create a whole clip and you bring everything under the same roof, then you just can duplicate this and move it around and just reuse it several times without just copying and pasting several clips. So you can choose what you want to do right here. Maybe I'm gonna go there, and if I play it, we should be getting something pretty much very similar to what we did before. And we get the transition. There you go. That's how you crossfade. Pretty simple. And again, if we want to do it the other way, I'm gonna maybe go back to what we had from before. I can maybe make this one a little bit shorter, then go right here and just applying the fades, we can go the other side because we know that we have some information right there. And if I play it, we get this part, and then we are kind of blending this one to the next one. So again, the same thing we did right here at the top. So yeah, we get it. Right, so always remember, and this is again a very useful trick, that doing the Control or the Alt in this case, or I'm keep saying Control and it's Alt, you can move the waveform if you have the room just to adjust everything that you're doing and just, get a better blend. And at the very top, you get a very descriptive, it just shows right there what you're doing. It's super cool. It actually looks super cool. All right, so we are done with fading, and it's a pretty simple topic once you know the gotchas. The fade in, the fade out, the autofades, the crossfades, just a very simple task. Now, this video originally was going to be bigger because I wanted to cover the fade in, all this fading topic, but also I wanted to cover this part, the content scaling topic. But if I do this is going to be a 50 or maybe 1 hour video, and I don't want that at this point. So yeah, we are pretty much done with this one. And this is a very basic thing that you are going to be using the whole time. So you better master this. So if you learned something new, remember to like and subscribe. And again, if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee just to say thanks, you can. The description, you have links for PayPal, you have the YouTube thanks, and you also have Patreon. So you can be a 1-month patron and, maybe buy me a coffee. Okay, see you on the next one about content scaling.